Guys, in this video we will learn how to use Highchart in Laravel application. So in this example we will use column chart and display data month wise and number of registered user in the graph. So let's get started with the example. So I already downloaded fresh Laravel application and set up the database, and you can go to my php and you can see number of tables, and also I created some dummy users so we can properly graph like January, February, how many users are registered on that month. Okay, so let's go. And first of all we will create the controller. So I will say php artisan mac controller, and I will say user controller. Okay, now we created, and let me go and create one route over here. So I will say route cat, and I will simply say users, and I will define user controller colon class, and I will simply say index method. Okay, save it. Okay, and now let me use the namespace over here. So I will say user controller and simply save it. Now let me go and create index method into the controller. So I will say return, and right now I simply return the users blad file. Simply save it. Now resource into the views I will create users.blad file. So I will say users.blad.php and simply save it. Okay, and I'm going to use bootstrap into the blade file. So I already defined, like, I already have used the ctn for the bootstrap and simple design. So I will say Laravel high chart example, simply save it. Okay, and let me run the example. Okay, simply php artisan serve. Okay, now if I go here, and you can see it's already running. So you can see that Laravel Highchart. Now let me go to the Highchart website, and there is a demo link over here, and let me go and scroll down over here. We will use the column chart. So I will use the basic column chart. Okay, and here is the file. There is already simple example. Okay, so what I will do, I will simply use first JS file for that. So we will simply use and add it over here. Okay, and now if I go and simply use this code. Okay, and if I go here and script, paste it. Okay, and simply make it proper format for it for the high chart. Okay, and save it, and you can see that this high charts based on the container div. So if I go here and there is a container id, I will simply copy it. Okay, and simply paste it over here. Okay, and now let me run. Okay, and hit refresh, you can see that there is a proper simple graph over here with USA, China, Brazil, and but you can see that that is the all dummy data. Okay, so you can see here. So what I will do, I will simply remove the subtitle. I don't want that, and I will change the some wording over here like number of registered users 2024. Simply save it. Okay, and here is the countries. I will say users. Okay, and I will simply say users over here, and same thing prefix also I will say simply users. Okay, and save it. Okay, now if I hit refresh, you can see that it's simple graph with the USA and China. What we need to do, like January and number of users, February numbers of users. So what we need to do, we need to go to the controller, and here we need to get the data. So I will say users, and I will use user model for it. So I will say select, and first I will use db row, and with that I will simply use the count function, and it will count number of user. Okay, and then I will say db colon row, and I will say simply month name. Okay, and it will coming from the created at column. Okay, and as I will say month underscore name. Okay, and then I will simply use the where condition, where year. So we just need to display the current year. So I will say created at column, and it only with current year data. Okay, and simply I will say group by, and same thing I will use db row for it. So I will say db row, and group by will be month. Okay, so I will say month and created at. Okay, and simply I will say plug, and first will be the value. So I will say count, and then the next will be the key name. So I will say month name. Okay, and simply I will get into two array. Okay, so simply display and how I'm getting the records. Okay, save it. Okay, and now let me go and let me use first over here like namespace for the user model, and let me use db. Okay, simply save it. Okay, and now let me go here and refresh it. You can see that I got like access violation error, so that means it's a group by I am using. So what I need to do, I need to simple go here into the configuration database, and if I go here you can see that there is a strict model, so I will just make it false, so it will allow to use the group by to me. Okay, so if I refresh it you can see that like January has a 2 users, February has 2 users, April has a 2, and October has a 14 users register. Okay, so now let me go and same thing, that data we need to use it to the graph. Okay, so simple here, and I will say compact. Okay, and I will simply pass the users, and here into the blade file what I will do, I will simply say where data keys, that means the January February month name. So what I will do, I will simply use JSON attribute, and I will use array function, array keys. So just we need to get the keys value. You can see that US, Brazil, and Russia. So what we have into the column. Okay, so I will simply go and I will say users. Same thing, I will create another variable that called data values, and I will use JSON for it, and JSON, and same thing I will get array underscore values, and I will use users values. That means what, like 2 3 1 2. So that's okay, and here I will display simple console log, and I will say data keys. Okay, and same thing I will say data values. Okay, save it. Okay, and now let me go and first let's check I am getting or not. So I will say like undefined function array values. Okay, so I make a mistake over here and refresh it, and now let me go in spec element console, and there is a where, so where there is a problem, simply save it. Okay, and hit refresh. You can see that January February, and you can see that 1 2 3 14. Okay, so what we need to do, you can see January February here, it should be displayed like USA and China. Okay, so let me go here and simply give this variable, let me remove this one. Okay, and paste it, and data values, that means add here, and I will say simply users, and I will remove this one. We don't require two things, just one. Simply save it. Okay, and if I go here and hit refresh, you can see that how it looks. Simply refresh, you can see that October is a 14 user, and like September is a 4 user register. So you can see how easily you can integrate the high chart, and also you can use let's talk like line chart, area chart, and all the chart you can easily use like this way. So I hope guys you understand how to implement high chart in Laravel, and if you like my video then please subscribe my channel. Thank you so much for watching guys.